Hey, what's up, TruExperience Nation? I'm Richie McCaney, teaching you how to experience the most. If you're new around here, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Guys, we focus on three things here at TruExperience. That's mindset, that is freedom, and that is weight loss. Guys, if you like those topics, but more importantly, my energy, my vibes behind those topics, and do yourself a favor, get connected and stay connected. Guys, today we are continuing on in the freedom category, the mindset of freedom and wealth creation, by going over the book, How the Rich Think. Today we're on money mindset tip number 15. The middle class focuses on pleasurable activities. World class focuses on money-making activities. See, I'm reading this chapter, and the very first sentence I honestly disagreed with. The masses spend a substantial amount of time entertaining themselves in a variety of activities. True statement, but so do world-class thinkers, so do wealthy people. So as I'm reading this, I'm like, dude, wealthy people, man, they spend a lot of time and a whole lot of money doing things that entertain them, like all the time. But as the book continues, I really was in sync, and where my mind was going, the book went. So that's a good sign. The masses, they live in a state of consciousness where effort is minimal and pleasure is king. We can just stop right there. And this is true for anything. Like this is something we need to be aware of, and I'm gonna do a video just solely about the importance of awareness, but we need to be aware of the fact that we want to put in as little effort as possible, and pleasure is king, meaning we're going to do the things that's most pleasurable to us and in all regards first, especially if it's easy. And most of the time, pleasure signifies the reward system that we have built in, and it just goes back and solidifies the action we took to get to that pleasure. The faster we can get pleasure, the more likely we are to do that thing that led to that pleasure. And so when it comes to, like, let's just say eating junk food, you get an immediate pleasure. Like, it's sweet, it's sugary, it tastes good, you get the rush, like it's appealing. And so you're like, whoa, that tastes really good, let me do that again. As opposed to, eating carrots may not taste as good as eating an oatmeal cream pie. It takes a little bit more effort. However, the long-term results of eating the carrot instead of the oatmeal cream pie are vastly more superior and more rewarding in the long term, but it's delayed as opposed to instantaneous. That is why pleasure tends to be king. You want it right then in that moment. And so when it comes to creating wealth, look, the things that's required to create wealth, which is creating value, which takes time to put out and then get the return, it requires effort. It requires a consistent amount of effort. It don't have to be huge. It don't have to be huge every day, like massive effort, but it does need to be small amounts of effort continually over time, and those lead to big and massive results. And so right there, that comment alone is key, that we need to understand that this transcends just creating wealth, but in all areas of life. And the more aware you are of that, the more you can fight that off and withstand the instantaneous pleasure for minimal effort and put in maximum effort, Deadpool style, maximum effort to get massive results and massive pleasure later on. Okay, let's continue. Rich people focus a majority of their attention on making money activities they enjoy. I vibes with that a lot. And so we continue talking about that. I think it's important. You hear people say all the time, do something you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. And there's this truth to that, because I find work to be more about perspective, really, and your state of mind. Like, of course you're working, but if you really enjoy what you do, you're eager to go and do that work. You're excited to get up each day to go and do that work because you enjoy that process. You enjoy the behavior associated with it. You enjoy putting in the effort because it's fun. Like you like basketball, right? I'll use a basketball example. I like basketball. And so when you would go and shoot basketball, it may seem like it was work to somebody else, but you enjoyed it. And so you were excited to go and get there. And then when you started seeing yourself improve or get better and start to get the results, then that locked you in, that you wanted to do more. You needed to push yourself because you wanted to be the best you could be. And so I like what they say here. let's just look. So here's what it means, like to do something they love, but they're constantly thinking about creating value in the things they like. And so let's say you have a passion for beautiful paintings. Instead of just looking and going to looking at beautiful paintings, they turn it into investment art. Let's say you have a flair for numbers. You love numbers and stuff like that. They get into buying and selling stocks. And so it's like they're taking something that they're good at. All right, we tend to enjoy things that we're good at, that they're naturally good at, things they have passions for, things that they like. And then they find a way to create some sort of value out of that to the world so that they can then return, get money back. But they're doing what they love. This is an important question I think everybody needs to stop and ask themselves, period. This comes with the inner peace and being happy. What do you love? Where's your focus? What is it that you want? Because the average person, it looks like to the average person that the rich are working all the time. But one of the smartest strategies of the world class is doing is they love finding a way to get paid for the things that they love. And that's a magical place to be in. I was shooting basketball outside a few months ago, and I was thinking, like, what do I love? Like, what do I enjoy? And I stopped, like, what gives me joy? And I always come back to the same answer. It always just comes back to, like, if I could do anything, it's creating content. Like, I like to travel. I like having experiences. I care more about experiences than I do money. I would much rather keep a junky car and spend money going on like a Disney cruise with the family. Like, to me, that memory, that experience is way more valuable to me than any singular monetary thing, like a car or something like that. Those don't impress me as much. Like, I'm cool with the house I got now. Like, I have visions to keep this house forever. I don't care if I make $1 billion. I'd still see myself staying in this house. I'm going to update it and upgrade it, but I don't feel the need to go buy a mansion. I'll just spend that money and go rent a mansion on vacation somewhere and have a cool, unique experience. And then I'm just as likely to go somewhere and backpack in the deep country somewhere and sleep in a hammock and enjoy that just as much, if not more. And so I enjoy experiences, and I love documenting those experiences and sharing them with people. That's what I've been wanting to do forever. And I do that here and there, but when I'm really on course, I'm happy about it. And so here's a critical thinking question. Are people doing what they want to do because they have wealth, or do they have wealth because they're doing what they want to do? Like, which one comes first? And in here this is, you can, either way works. Like, if you're inheriting a lot of money, it's like, hey, I got a lot of money, I can quit my job. Now I have a choice. If I want to go and travel the world, I can. And that's there. But he said, and I want to read it because this guy who wrote the book, he said, the majority of wealthy people that I've interviewed over the past 26 years did not make serious money until they were doing what they loved. And I just like that. And it's the same thing we talked about before. Your mentality doesn't change after you get money. Your mentality changes and then the money comes. You upgrade your life and then your life around you upgrades. It rarely works the other way. It's always an inside job, self-help, self-rescue job. Change yourself, change your circumstances type deal. And so I like that philosophy. This fits perfectly. And I think you should give yourself some serious thought about what do you really love to do? When you're doing what you love and you think about it 24 hours a day, anything that has that much laser focused mental energy directed toward it, it's going to produce massive results. We'll talk about Kobe Bryant. He just passed. He's at the current of me recording this. I love Kobe. Like, I was a big Kobe fan. I really liked his philosophies. That Mamba mentality, I feel like, transcends just basketball, but just things in life in general, about putting in hard work, delayed results, all the stuff we talk about on here. He loved basketball. Did he work hard? He probably worked maybe harder than anybody that's ever been in the NBA. And if there has somebody, they might have equaled him, but rarely rivaled him when it comes to work ethic. And it showed, and he was really good because of it. But when you have that much laser focused, he just loved it. It just became a part of who he was. But when you put that type of this is what I do, then you get massive results for that. And you just say, man, I don't really go out. But when I go out, it's not going to be at the expense of my craft. I'm not going to jeopardize or sacrifice the thing that I love most for a little bit of pleasure the night before. Like, I'm locked in, and if I think this thing is going to interfere with my overall goal, then we need to trim that. I'm willing to make that sacrifice so I don't sacrifice the big thing. And I just think that's awesome. And if you love what you do and you're passionate about it, again, it's not focusing on loving money. That's not the message. Don't misrepresent this. It's not about that. It's about finding out what makes you happy. It's about finding out what you want to do, what you could do if it didn't matter, and then figuring out a way to create value, to solve a problem, to share that with the world, so you can figure out a way to get paid to do that around the clock. Where it's like, man, you just work all the time. It's like, no, I'm just living life and experiencing the most all the time. I just happen to be getting paid for it. It's an amazing, awesome thing. And I'm so glad I found a system that's allowed me to tap into that. And I'll ask you this critical question, which we've already hinted at. What would you do for a living, or what would you love to do for a living more than anything else? Like, sit back and think, like, man, if money wasn't an option, time wasn't an option, like, what would I do? What would I absolutely love to do? And really think about that and try to figure out a way to start taking steps to achieve that. Guys, we're trying to challenge you, man, to change the way you think, to do this inside job so you'll change the things that you do and you will change what you get. Guys, the system I was talking about, it's available to you just as much as it was for me. If you're stuck in that area, I get paid from home, from my phone, wherever I'm at, to lose weight and to help other people do that. There's a problem out there we have a solution for. It's very valuable and people are willing to spend money on it. You can do the same thing. And if you're at all open to possibly receiving information about that, just to see if it may or may not be a fit for you, do yourself a favor and hit me up, and so you can make a decision to see what's up. But guys, y'all know the business. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'm out.